Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the channel Watching the World. It's so great to have you here to listen to the message that I have today for the female followers or the watchers of this channel. As you may know, I did a dedicated live stream for the males that follow this channel, the male watchers. And we kind of broke down various facets of this trial that could help men be better moving forward and some of the snares to avoid so as to not get yourself in a heap of trouble. So today I just wanted to take a few minutes and talk to the females that follow the channel because I haven't really dug in with a dedicated breakdown of the victims and how just going through some of the points might be helpful for women. Because of the nature of the trial, I attended the trial for 8 weeks every day in court. It was quite the process to sit through, and I saw every witness that took the stand, every victim that took the stand, and in most cases, I saw the words that came out of their mouths. I even saw them walk into the courtroom. In this particular case, they debated about whether having Cassie walk before the jurors because she was pregnant at the time. So there were a lot of details in regards to the case that maybe a lot of people did not mention. But because of the nature of the female victims, we do not take away from their story. Uh, Mark Agnifilo, when he did his closing arguments to the jury, he says that this is a case about two different trials. You have a trial that you could follow the evidence, and then you also have a trial that they tried to drum up this whole RICO charge. And we saw because of that, and probably because of the comparison that he made, that probably helped the jurors to make the determination that the RICO was not guilty. But here's the thing, that case with the evidence is still there. Yeah. The attorney said it himself. So the RICO was one trial, but there was a string of evidence that came through on this trial. And so, in order to get into that more deeply, instead of me trying to assist the ladies who constantly ask me questions about my opinion when it comes to Cassie, Mia, Capricorn, Clark, Jane Doe, all of these females, I'm going to have women who attended the trial with me come on and I'll let them break it down for you. One is a legal analyst. Her name is Candace Kelly. She's been on the channel so many times. She is a professor. She teaches law. So I'm going to have her come back on and really help us make sense of it from a woman's perspective. How do you deal with abuse? Now, I have my take on it and I have my perspective, but I'm not a woman. So therefore, I think it's only right to have a woman break it down and answer your questions. Now, I can give my 2 cents for what it's worth. We also have Queen Sheba. I attended trial with her. I also did a show with her. She's a psychologist. So you guys could sit down and get to hear how she breaks down various things. Throughout the trial, we were taking notes every day. If I missed something, I would refer to her. If she missed something, she would refer to me. We also have Blanca Cobb. She's a body language expert, some of the top women in this country. I'm telling you what I know. Having her back too and have her input on the body language. Why was Cassie sitting that way? Was there some truth with her facial expressions? I want to bring you guys these individuals back as a panel so you can really understand about, is this abuse real? Were they really victims? And just getting the perspective of a woman, I think would be much better than me just giving you my perspective. Now, from my perspective, I'm just going to say this. I think at some point, especially with women, right? And this is why I don't want to give my opinion because I may be off, right? But from what I determine, in many cases, and not just this case, sometimes women become victims And then they're in that victimship so long, they become like a Bonnie to a Clyde. You see what I'm saying? So they stay in the environment so long, they forget who they are. And now you have the female who was the victim, started off as a victim. Now she's threatening to kill people and bury them in the dirt. Just observation. But most importantly, from my role in this, in which I try to stress as an investor, I invest in the stock market. This is what I do. I'm very good at it, right? And that's why I like to follow Trump because he basically makes me a lot of money. I make a lot of my determination based on what Trump is doing at the time and what have you. It's a great time to invest. But here's the thing. I think is that what I would tell to my daughter, my nieces, which I have a whole team of them right now, and they're all at that age where they're hitting 18 or above. What I'm saying to them is this: do not get involved in a relationship. Now, this is my family. I'm just letting you guys know how I move. I'm telling them, do not get so caught up in relationships until you can manage to take care of yourself. You know why? The government pushed this whole thing about coercion. And I'll give you an example with Cassie. They said that Diddy gave her a 10-year, 10 album contract, and then he shut her off because he became her boss, right? He was her boss. And then she was trapped away doing despicable things, according to the government, according to her testimony, too. And then she couldn't get out of it because she had no money. So money became the root of a lot of things that I've heard in this case. I also looked at the Fat Joe case, went through it like a fine tooth comb. When you look at the case, again, it all stems from money. There's a lot of money involved. And so if money becomes your center and you can't produce it yourself, now you become slave to some man or woman, depending on what you like in life. Things have changed now. So some people like all sorts of things. There's some guys out here married to a mannequin right now and talking to his mannequin about their life together. So I respect all these concepts, right? But you don't want to put yourself in a position where you can't produce financially because now if you're relying on an individual, they can tell you, oh, you're going to do this right here or you're out of here. Or if you don't do this, then you're going to get this. And a lot of times people are stripped down, even women, right? Even men. Fat Joe's case involves a man making these claims. Tyler Perry case involves a man. But you lose your dignity sometimes because you can't produce money yourself. Now I can't really get deeply into each victim whether I thought that it was true or not. But I do know with Jane Doe, she made it seem like she didn't have her money together personally. That came out in court and I could see it. So it's always a hustle of trying to get money from the supplier. And then sometimes the supplier could mean your detriment. You follow what I'm saying? So I'll stay in my lane and I'll show you guys how to fix your credit, how to invest in the stock market. I'm going to do late night shows and I'm going to show you the game. Right? It's up to you if you want to tune in and learn these type of things so that when you're like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, I can't tell women what to do. Neither will I try. But at least you have the basic knowledge how to be successful, get your money together. That way, if some guy or girl, whoever you like, or mannequin tells you to hit the road or tell you you can't, you got to do this for me or else you're not getting any more money, you'd be like, so what? I have my own money, right? See, when my grandfather was coming along, my grandmother stayed at home all day, much different time than now. He was the breadwinner, but in many ways, she would be trapped, you know? I'm not saying she was trapped, but she could be trapped because he's the breadwinner. If he's an alcoholic and he comes home every Friday night, Saturday night, start drinking and start beating her on the head, where can she go? My grandmother had 12 kids. So now you try to leave with 12 kids. So that's the point of my message, but I think I need it buffered by some sharp women because sometimes people like a Latasha, Candace Kelly, people like that will say, well, you might want to soften what you're saying. You know, to the guys, I'm a little bit straightforward. Get it how you live it. But I think it would come better with the ladies. So one or two is on vacation and so forth. But in another week, I didn't want you guys who follow this channel to sit and say, why is he talking? Why is he not talking about the victims? You guys know how I move. I don't hold my punches. But I figured because this has been weighing on me because I was raised, my grandfather passed away. He was my male figure. He died when I was 8. So my grandmother raised me and she wasn't about this hidden women. You know, she raised me a little differently. So when I go to court and I hear about people getting women getting beaten, so it's out of my league, you know. And I know in my family we don't really have that problem with people getting beat because we don't take too kindly to that. My brother's like the boogeyman. I have to tell him to chill out, and I have to come to keep him from getting at you. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it goes. Or so we don't allow that in our family. Beating women, we don't beat women, stuff like that. Or it's not even about beating women, it's also the mental aspect of it. I try not to be on people like that. I don't like people crowding my space. I like to have a peace of mind. That's why I worked hard to create this life so that, you know, everybody in my circle is living great, you know. That's just what you should do. And that's what I'm going to leave for my future kids that I don't know yet that's going to come through my kids, right? I want them to have a different experience because I had to make this what I have. So it's very important that you pass this on to the young girls because what I hear on some of these YouTube channels about guys who shouldn't even have a girlfriend, really, just average Joes. They have a lot of followers on YouTube, so now that made them king. But outside of that, they don't really have character. And I'm not bashing other men. I'm just telling you my observation, which I'm entitled to do. And I'm bringing it up because of this trial and other trials. I'm starting to see all of these allegations. And when you have allegations, that means you have victims, right? These guys are not on trial for abusing an invisible person. There's someone sitting in that box. There's someone taking those hits. There's someone they're alleging to be coerced. These are real. These are real concepts that I saw and heard, folks. And there's no reason if you can steer your daughter or your niece, like all of mine. I'm with the smoke. I'm telling you right now, I'm with the smoke. So I'll travel to get at somebody about my niece or nephew. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And Lord knows, don't mess with my kid or anything like that. Somebody else gonna be calling 911, not me. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it's going down. Because these people are so disrespectful. I'm sorry, but even at the trial the last day, I saw some things going down. I'm like, yo, this is a different world, man. Like, I think women need protection. Especially if you're in a different. It depends on where you are in life, but it's a good idea because even now with the wokeness that Donald Trump is all on or whatever, it used to be that a man couldn't hit a woman, especially like in public. Like I think I would intervene, right? But because of the wokeness, you don't know if this man is a woman or what he identifies as. And so if he identifies a little softer than most men, then a woman is open season to hit. You know what I'm saying? Like this is it's real crazy now. It's real crazy. Or sometimes men identify on a softer way and they appear to be as a woman. They feel like they're a woman, so they can pop off at you, and they feel like you can't snatch them up and body slam them or something, which you shouldn't probably do. But that's their approach. So then they get real crazy and flamboyant and all in other people's space, and they feel like they're a woman when they're really a man, and they might get, you know. dealt with like a man. I'm just saying, this is a weird life we have now with blurred lines. Like when I went to school, I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying these things. It's probably not a good idea that I be on social media or whatever you want to call this, right? Because I say too much. But I had a teacher in school. She was a female. At the time, I had no concept, and plus I grew up religious. I had no concept that she was probably identifying as a man. It took me moving to New York and understanding what that was all about. You know, there was some other guy that I think he identified as a woman that used to walk down the road, and people used to whisper about him, but I never really understood the concept. That's down south. The times have changed now tremendously, and you have to be careful how you move because a man just might snatch you up like you're another man. So, and that's probably offensive. I know I'm not saying all the days or whatever. So it is what it is, folks. I'm not changing it. I've been here too long now, so I'm gonna stick to I'll try to work with some of you or whatever, but it's hard to navigate how people really identify. But it's scary because a man is still a man. That's why they came up with the concept about having these big burly men playing basketball with women. And then it gets out of hand, and it's. I'm gonna move on from the subject. You guys get my point. So my point is this: I'm gonna have some very intelligent women come on, and you guys, I would really like for you guys to participate on that day. I'm gonna tell you ahead of time. I also have a little treat for you guys. Oh my goodness, you guys are gonna be excited. So today I called my homeboy. His name is Travis McCoy. He did the song with Bruno Mars. I wanna be a billionaire. So I hit Travis up today. He's a good friend of mine. I said, Travis, I need an intro song, bro. Hook me up. Travis responded less than 1 minute. And he was like, bro, I'm busy today, but come over tomorrow and we'll be in the studio until we make you an intro song. So tomorrow, folks, I'll be in the studio with my homeboy, Travis McCoy. We'll probably make it a whole day. We're good friends, so. But I'll try to go live. He's real cool with it. Believe me, he's a spectacular type of guy, and you guys would love to get to know him. He already told me to take my microphone and throw it in the trash. He saw my video with Tasha K. He was like, dude, you got to get a better microphone. That thing is muffled, and I'm gonna hook you up. I'm like, man, Travis, I didn't think that I had such heavy artillery in you, but hey, we're gonna catch up tomorrow, folks. I'll make sure to bring Travi on. So I know a lot of you guys are fans. Gym Class Heroes, that's where he started at. We've been friends now for probably 6 or 7 years. He's just a world class guy. We don't see all this online, and he's a singer. We just see brothers. And we both have an influence or a background that we knew Prince. So, it's quite a connection. We could possibly talk about that too at some point. But I'm going to have Travi on the channel. Definitely. Check him out. Go check out his music. He just came out with a new album. I think it was 2 years ago, what have you. But a very brilliant guy. And tomorrow you'll get to see he can cook up a song. I guarantee you. And he can rap and do all the other stuff. So who knows what he'll have me doing in the studio, trying to put together an intro song for Watching the World. So, all right, that's it, folks. I just wanted to give you guys just a little update as to why I've been silent about the whole victim part of it. But it's not off the table, believe me. But it's very touchy because now the world has moved on, and they don't really think about the victim in this. Remember, I told you I started off with two cases, right? So the one case is with the evidence. In that case, there are victims, no doubt about it. In that second case that was thrown out of court, there you have the RICO and some other things that were very hard to understand. And what happened is because the government got greedy, and that's why, if you notice, at first I was really breaking it down a certain way, probably with that evidence case. But at some point, I had to step away and say, okay, we're going to deal with this, but We have to deal with this RICO case. You know why? Because the government is going to be in your bedroom soon. See, what people don't understand about this case is this simple concept. In the law, cases set precedent. So that's why you hear attorneys saying, well, we have this case, Smith versus Alabama, and this is what the ruling was. And then they bring that ruling into this case, right? So, in order to frame or put the RICO on Sean Diddy Combs, do you know what case that they had to use to do that? Kelly versus the government. Now, Kelly did some horrible things. We're not talking about those horrible things. We're simply saying they hit him with that RICO. They hit him with a RICO, and then they said, "Well, we hit him with a RICO. We can hit Sean Combs with a RICO." You see how that works? And now they laced the whole cannon with Sean Combs' case, so much so that it clouded what he had really done. And nobody's denying that a lot of bad things happen. But the problem is the even still, let me tell you this way. Because they got him with the prostitution across state lines, folks, now when guys try to fly you ladies to Las Vegas and they offer you some money or what have you, it could get really ugly because that's what happened. You're flying females from one state to the next, and there's money exchanging. Or in the case of Jane Doe, her rent is being paid. They use that straight up to say, well, she's that's her compensation for some incredible nights. Yeah, that's what the government was doing. That one stuck. So now you're going to start to see, believe it or not, you're going to see other guys get caught up, especially because see, this is the thing. Jane Doe, when she was happy with Diddy, she never complained from what came out in court. I'm telling you what I sat there every day. I was taking notes. I saw her give her testimony. She never complained, right? She would spend this time with Diddy and she always said, oh, like most women, and it's a lovable thing. They say, oh, she wanted to be cuddled, right? Snuggled, right? On a nice cold night, right? Okay, but here's the thing. She would go on Instagram like this here. Open up the phone. Oh, he's out with young Miami. And then she started going crazy. Oh, you got me doing freak offs and you got this B on the cruise. You see what I'm saying? You whining and dining her and you're using me as a sausage meat to package. You know what I'm saying? So that's the dilemma that people could fly or a guy could fly you or whatever, and then you change your mind and you say bad things. Now there's a big issue. That's what this thing is about. It's not about what I'm saying. I'm telling you what's in court now. So because Diddy lost that part of the case, it's open season, and I don't know who's going to be the first guy to sit in that seat, but somebody's going to sit in there real soon because that's just how the government works. They found somebody to sit in this RICO that R. Kelly sat in. And I would venture to say, and hopefully I don't offend people, but it is what it is, folks. I would venture to say R. Kelly didn't get a fair trial, even though just from what I saw. Now, what I am saying is he did these terrible things, and maybe when they try him the right way, maybe he get more time. But you have to be smart to understand what I'm trying to convey to you. By giving R. Kelly a RICO, I guarantee you, not on Brian Steele's watch would it have went down, or Shapiro, who also specializes in appeals. But they probably come with a big ticket, a heavy price. I guarantee you. But I guarantee you, Brian Steele is not going down. This guy is something. He's a force to. I've never seen anything like it. This guy is simply the best out here right now. I mean, he has a presence, and I don't want to just go too far on about Brian Steele. And also, Nicole Westmoreland, I think they're teammates. They both worked on Young Thug's case. So Diddy made a good move by pulling them in because right now, Brian Steele is batting on 100% when it comes to these government RICOs. And after the case was all said and done, you can go back to my live. Brian Steele looked over. He said, "Listen, the government is broken," and he said, "We need people like you guys to talk about it." And so that's what I'm doing. But I will be covering his next trial. I told him I'd be covering his work, and he gave me a case. I'm not going to say what case it is because I don't want all these strange competitors because it gets out of control. So I'll let everybody else do their own homework because people do not respect other people's space. So I think I'm just going to move in stealth mode. You guys will know when I show up to the trial. I'll let you know I'm going, but I'm going to keep things rather discreet. I probably said too much already, but it's insanity. Like, and let me tell you something else I noticed about. I'm going to give you guys a little game right now. The big companies, when they make a selection of who they want to deal with out of this pool of YouTubers or people in general, they choose by how many followers you have, not by the quality of your message. Yeah, because you know why the big companies do that? They're trying to get the subscribers from the YouTubers to help their channels that are or their big channels that in many times their ratings are falling. So that's their strategy. So they're gonna put somebody up there, whether they tell the truth or not. They could lie the whole damn time. They don't care. It's all a numbers game, which I respect that. I'm a numbers guy, but I figured you guys would want to know that. And also with the big channels, once they said that Diddy was guilty, they did not change their mind. Go back if you don't believe me. Go find anybody that changed their mind before the verdict came through and said that he wasn't guilty. So that's another part of this. But here's what I'm trying to say before I go, and that is we need to discuss the victims. Just because a verdict went a certain way does not take away from that there are a lot of victims in this world. There's so many of these cases. When I was at court, one of the marshals, gave me some inside information, what have you, and I learned that there's so many of these cases that are cooking up right now and people are torn. You want to know why people are torn? Because a lot of you reach out to me. Some people feel that the celebrities or people that have money are really creating victims, right? But then there's a lot of people that realize that people are going after other people's money, and so they come up with these stories. So when you're an outsider, how do you decipher who's who and what's what in these various situations, right? How do you do it? And then we get to fighting because I think, let's say, this is all an example, folks. I don't want any smoke with you guys over a misunderstanding, okay? Because I feel now Diddy didn't do it, and then you feel that he did it. Now we can't even have a discussion, or we totally discredit the victims and say they're lying just because. I mean, some people are so passionate. I'm pretty passionate about Biggie Smalls, though. I mean, I'm a big Biggie Smalls fan, so I get it. I probably would get into some debates if somebody says something about Biggie. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But um, I get it. People are passionate, or when you're emotional, it's like when you're breaking up in a relationship. Someone can give you constructive counsel, good criticism, tell you what to do, but because your emotions are in it, you can't even do it. And sometimes you can't even eat. Like these are some of the deep parts of life that no one can really explain. Like, what is this love and thing all about? So that's what's happening with these cases. And also, you also have people that are just there to make money and they don't care who they cross over or what have you. And they didn't come for a victim in the first place. Like people with compassion usually will factor in a victim, but even now, people are not as compassionate as they used to be, unless they're Trump supporters. Trump supporters, they can stay focused on the assignment for some reason. And even though he said grab him by the whatever, they're like, well, he didn't really say that. He had a glass of wine, and it was really the wine talking. Oh, okay. That's why Donald Trump said that. Okay, cool. See, they make excuses and they keep trucking. You see what I'm saying? So, in other cases, though, it's not like that. Like you saw what happened with Joe Biden when he debated Trump. He made a few flubs, and the Democrats just tore him apart the next day. It wasn't the same type of energy that these MAGA people have for Trump. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I also went to Trump's trial. It was a whole different thing. I didn't see the circus that I saw at Diddy's trial. It just wasn't there. Most of the people there were there to support Trump, and that was just about it. This time, it was fights every day. Like, I've never seen anything like it. It's opened up my mind to, that we're in a crisis, and I don't know what the answer might be other than staying at home, maybe, and staying away from it, because you never know. Some people I saw get ambushed. I really did. I saw maybe 7 or 8 people get ambushed throughout the course of 8 weeks. That's almost one a week, folks. People just roll up on them. I was standing with a fella out of I'll tell you. I was standing with Myron Gaines, and a female rolled up on us filming. Now I'm in the shot, and she's going on and on. I don't even know enough about Myron's background to understand what she's upset about. She has a camera on me, so now I'm going viral too. I'm going on a journey, and I have a backpack on my shoulder, and because guys, I'm walking around with a backpack on this shoulder, it often causes my shirt to come out of my pants. It's like I'm just trying to walk, get back to the train station. It's crazy. So now she rolled up on us cursing. You couldn't tell in the original video she was mad at me or him, but that was the first time it really opened up my eyes. Like, yo, this could have been a bullet. It really could have been a bullet. It depends on the circumstance, right? So I could have caught whatever came his way because the lady wanted to go viral. This is what I saw. I saw it on the last day. It happened to Tisa Tales, you know. Now, a lot of people say she deserved it because of whatever reason. And, they felt like some things happened that were inappropriate. But again, I was right there. She had two security guards there that were armed. So, you know, there's no need in getting involved in that. And they didn't seem like they were worried. And she started to do a dance and told the guy to go jump in the lake or something. So it wasn't even that serious, but it went viral. And all of us standing around went viral with it. So these are some of the type of things in the line. Now, let me just pause for 1 second. I know this. So, ladies, we're clear. I'm bringing you some sharp ladies on that you're going to really get to hear about the victims. We're going to look at the psychology. We have actually Blanca is a psychologist, and also Queen Sheba. And then we have from the legal aspect, we have Candace Kelly, who is a legal analyst. I'm going to bring all this to you either together or individually, but you'll have your questions ready because you typically can't speak to these type of women unless you're paying big bucks an hour. So I try to bring you high quality at a high level so that perhaps you can, get help or get some guidance from people who specialize in victimhood, victimship that we saw, like in this case and in others. Also, if it's not for the men, but I think some of the men would do well to listen to these women because they break it down so well. I've done shows with each of them before, and I have a few others in mind. But these are the people that I went into this trial with, and I found some of the best people, I think, in the whole place. Also, that girl Henny, she's amazing too. And also the Tea Lounge, she was another one. So you'll see them perhaps coming through. I didn't get a chance to speak to them yet, but they'll be in the mix too. And you'll be able to hear some incredible things, guys. So that's basically it. I just wanted you guys to understand that. And I was about to tell you guys, even standing in line at the trial was quite a challenge because if you want to try to be in the main courtroom, they only give you 14 slots. So now you have that limited opportunity to get in every day. And I wanted to be in the trial every day. So that means I had to pay for someone to stay there overnight every night for 8 weeks. Can you imagine what that cost me? But that's the commitment I made to this trial because I wanted to find out the truth. And I did. And quite frankly, most of the things that I thought were in this trial was not there. But you know what was there? A lot of pain and misery. And a lot of conniving people were there. You could buy them by the wholesale. Never seen anything like it. In my regular life, I don't deal with conniving people. So usually everybody that I deal with, they mean what they say and they say what they mean, and you can work with that. But out here, I learned the hard way that some people, just like we started off talking about money in this particular live, that's what this whole thing was about. It's all about what I can get out of you, and I have no desire to give you anything in return. I don't deal with those type of people. I really don't, So we have to try to navigate better, I guess. But it was a good eye opener for me. And again, like I told you, that's why my message is so strong because I saw women getting disrespected too on many occasions. And that's what this whole trial was basically about. So we have to figure out how to navigate. And a lot of people don't even like to hear this type of stuff. I heard some guys speaking about it or whatever. But it's real talk, folks, and we're going to talk about it. I talk about it with the men, so it's only fair that I talk about it with the ladies. Let's see what we have in the comments before I end this live. Selflessness to the max. All right, Capricorns. Okay. Please be respectful in the chat. Okay. Lots of pain for sure. Yep. That's right. Cindy, all the women you bring on are amazing, Mel. Yes, indeed, they are. We're going to bring them on. Okay, we have Lolly. Okay, great. Everybody give Lolly a pop. Okay, it's unfortunate that Meek Mills and Diddy were scoring triple doubles on the cheeks of LeBron James. Ain't no party like, yeah, all of that turned out to be not true, or at least it's not in the trial. So nothing in the trial about any of that Meek Mill and all that type of stuff. Okay. Great TV, Hennessy. Okay. Sue, do you think it's black privilege? Black privilege. I've never really seen black privilege. That's a very good question. I have to think about that. Okay. Yeah, they're very knowledgeable ladies. Trump just took his plane for a domestic flight. Not surprising, not surprising. All right, Joe Flores. There's a lot of crazy people out there, Mel. I'm glad you're safe. Thanks, Joe. All right. Gray said Trump had his cheeks slapped by his partner. No, that's not right. No Trump and Diddy situation. Okay. World crisis. Okay. Michonne, it's a shame that people can't disagree respectfully. Yeah, that's the truth. Yep. It's so true. So true. Michonne, welcome everybody. Thank you, Michonne, for welcoming everybody. California, Trump, don't drink. Okay, that's good. Gray, a Frico is not a Rico. Yes, Charlucci came up with that slogan, so you could probably hit him up for a t-shirt. Okay, Gray, if LGBT is a crime in America, then okay, in court it came out. According to this court case, it's contrary to what you're saying. Gray Diddy was not homosexual. At least in court it came out. So we try to stick to the transcripts. From the river to the sea, Diddy did it. Okay. According to the verdict, only 40% came down on him. So we'll see. I think people should have to go to the police before they go for money. Michonne, a good point. In this case, they chose to go for the money before they went to the police. Okay, all right. Let's see what else we hats. Are we talking about? Okay, that's not nice. Boy, we got a rough crowd today. Rough crowd today. Mel, do you think the results of the case will have an effect on the R. Kelly case? I think so. I'm not sure of R. Kelly assets. I didn't follow his case per se, but I do think that if he retried the case, I think he'd have a much different result. Okay, oh, we have infamous Sylvia and the girl Henny in that building. Okay, shout out to them. They were at the courthouse. All right. And I have to talk to that girl Henny to see when she can come on. And also, perhaps we can even get infamous Sylvia. Guys, you have to check them out. They're all good. They're excellent, good people. All right. Let's see. Emmanuel, bro, stole that hat. Okay, so we have the same comment. I wonder if that's a bot because that's a different name than yesterday, but it's the same comment. So I think we have bots or something weird in the comments. All right. That girl Henny is in the building. That's awesome. Okay, very good. Yeah, Travis is gonna be in the building. That's my homeboy. All right. Let's see here. That'll be tomorrow, folks. So stay tuned. I'll bring him on. He's quite an entertainer, especially when it comes to music. You know, he's a professional. Okay. Good afternoon to you, that girl Henny. Okay. Yeah, we have a lot of bots in here, man. I wonder where they come from. Good afternoon, infamous Sylvia. Okay. Wow, this is insane. Okay, guys, so that's it for today. I'll let you know when we're going to break down the victims and when we're going to have different people on. And thank you for tuning in to Watching the World. I might be back on late tonight. I want to go through and do some review videos of other channels. I want to go through the juror that's on CNN. I also want to do a show maybe back to back or within the same show. I want to go through Cassie's attorney. He's on CNN. So I think CNN, as long as I'm constructive, I don't think they'll strike my channel for reviewing those two. So we're going to do a lot of that. And the first one just might be tonight, folks. So stay tuned, stay locked in, and thank you for tuning in to Watching the World, where we are kind to victims, but most importantly, we want people to have a fair shot at a great life. And my biggest point is if you can create a better financial arrangement for yourself, it'll help you have a better quality of life. And that's what I hope I can help you do. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys later. And I appreciate everybody that tuned in to the channel. Thank you. Have a good one.